Chapter 3. I don't get it. Dragon Supreme, also known as Dragon Supreme, truly wanted to take action. This was an opportunity to showcase his strength. But that damned Alex Carter, why didn't he show off against him? He was pulling and pushing, single-handedly blocking a dozen or so subordinates, sweating profusely. Was it really necessary? Let them come over, please. I'm begging you. I'm so eager for this wave of experience points. If I don't brush up today, I won't be able to close the curtain. Alex Carter had also made up his mind. No matter what, I won't let you gain experience points. No way. Not today. In the future, you are the sky. You are God. Whatever you say goes. I won't argue with you. Autumn Frost, if you can take her away, take her away. If you can't, it's your own screw-up. In short, don't mess with me. Dragon Supreme was almost crazy. Mr. Carter, are you very unhappy with me? Alex Carter finally appeased the crowd and spread his arms to block a group of bodyguards. No, I'm very happy. I'm flying high. I think you and Frost are a good match. Send me a wedding invitation, and I'll give a gift. Dragon Supreme's strength had nowhere to go, and he was anxiously pacing around. How about you let them come over? After all, they are here for you. No, don't worry. As long as I'm here today, none of them will get through. Alex Carter turned to the bodyguards and shouted, "Whoever moves, I'll kill him." Autumn Frost also knew that Alex Carter seemed to be able to predict some future events. And now the whole thing has changed. Now it looks like Alex Carter is trying to calm things down, while Dragon Supreme seems to think that the matter is not big enough and wants to make a big fuss. Autumn Frost has seen through Dragon Supreme's fake face and said angrily, "Dragon Supreme, that's enough. Get out. Get out now, or I'll call the police." Dragon Supreme's face turned blue. The returning war god, no one in the entire frontier dares to humiliate myself. I never thought that today I would be so humiliated. Okay, I'll get out. But Frost, please believe that no matter when or where in the future, no matter what danger you encounter, I will stand up, even if it means being an enemy of the whole world. Autumn Frost held back her nausea and pointed, "Get out quickly." Dragon Supreme had nothing more to say. His face was almost black, turned around, and glared at Alex Carter maliciously. Alex Carter was about to cry. Carefully said, "It's really not my fault. I also didn't figure it out. You held back enough, right?" Dragon Supreme snorted, left with a gloomy face. Alex Carter almost vomited in the bathroom. After several rounds of crossing, he summarized the 3 major laws of villain survival. First, do not compete with the protagonist. That is definitely the fastest way to die. What kind of person is the protagonist? Can he tolerate you showing off with him? He wants to kill you even if you don't show off. If you show off, he will kill you. Second, the protagonist woman cannot be touched. Stay as far away as possible. Those brain-dead women are all poisonous. When the protagonist kills you, they will only clap and praise the protagonist for his bravery and throw themselves into his arms. Third, absolutely do not do bad things. If the protagonist sees you doing bad things, you won the prize. You will become the protagonist's experience package, contributing a little to the protagonist's show-off career. Ding dong. System prompt. Dear, congratulations to the host for completing the initial survival test phase. The difficulty coefficient is 1 star. We have prepared a reward for the host for the first phase. Alex Carter. What's the reward? Reward you a sports car, dear. Alex Carter widened his eyes. Are you kidding? I am the eldest son of the Lockhart family, the richest man in Aspen, Colorado, in charge of the Lockhart Group. I picked up a life from that beast Dragon Supreme. And you reward me with a luxury car? Host, don't be excited. This luxury car is not ordinary, dear. What's so special about it? Alex Carter shouted. This sports car has a full 4 wheels, dear. You big. Alex Carter suppressed his anger. What's the matter with that dead girl, Autumn Frost? According to the plot, she should have left with Dragon Supreme, right? What is this now? We don't know the situation on Frost's side for the time being, And if you want to know in detail, please talk to her actively host. I'll talk to her 6. Dragon Supreme's eyes just now already wanted to strangle me to death. Alex Carter was about to go crazy. After Alex Carter finished his temper, he became cowardly again. Please think of a way to let them reunite as soon as possible. If this goes on, I will be played to death by you guys sooner or later. Our feedback here is to play you to death, dear. Your uncle, in Lockhart studied. Lockhart said with a stern face, "Sit down." Alex Carter sat down cautiously. Tell me what's going on. What bad thing are you holding back? No. Alex Carter was puzzled. You can deceive me? What kind of person you are? I will not be clear. Tell you. You'd better collect your heart for me. Treat Frost well, or I won't spare you. Alex Carter said. She won't marry me. How much she hates me. Everyone in Aspen, Colorado knows. Then why did she suddenly make a 180-degree turn today and agree to the marriage? I really don't know. I'm also wondering, why did you suddenly hold up and don't want to marry? I have great love in my heart. Lockhart narrowed his eyes. You are really more and more shameless now. Alex Carter was so depressed that he didn't even want to talk. Take a gift, and you will visit your godfather later. Alex Carter was stunned. My godfather? Oh, right. The basic framework of this book. There are 4 major families in Aspen, Colorado: Lockhart, Chun, Sue, and Frosta. Among them, the Lockhart family is the most powerful, followed by the Lockhart and Snowden families, and the Frost family almost collapsed due to poor management in recent years. Fortunately, Autumn Frost took over in adversity, worked hard for 2 years, turned losses into profits, and stabilized the overall situation of the Frost family, so as not to go bankrupt completely. Therefore, the Frost family is very active in marriage. The Frost family doesn't know Alex Carter's character, but now the most capable and willing to save the Frost family in Aspen, Colorado, is only the Lockhart family. So for the sake of family interests, they can only marry. In fact, they look down on Alex Carter. This is the place where this book is pitiful. His villain's person is almost perfect, tall and handsome, rich and wealthy, young and promising, talented, leading the Lockhart group to go through thorns and cross the market. But such a man who stands at the top of the human food chain in the real world is just a licking dog for the big female owner Autumn Frosta. Everything is to make it more enjoyable for the protagonist to step on himself. The better the villain, the more fun the protagonist plays. For Autumn Frost, he relies on his deep background, and the protagonist shows off, and is humiliated and cleaned up by the protagonist in various ways, and is directly killed in the end. This is the fate of himself, this perfect little villain. He wants to survive. He must avoid all conflicts with the protagonist. The primary conflict is the relationship with Autumn Frost. He must stay away from Autumn Frost as far as possible. As long as he gets through the ending, he can return to reality with a rich reward, become a high rich and handsome, marry a white and rich beauty, and reach the peak of life. He can also cure his mother's illness. The Lockhart family has been operating in Aspen, Colorado for a long time, and has a good relationship with the Chun, Sue, and Frost families. Especially with the patriarch of the Lockhart family, Lockhart also recognized a godfather, which is his godfather. Recently, the godfather Chinsho is seriously ill in bed, and all the people of the Lockhart family have visited, and he has not shown up yet because he is playful and dissolute. Leave the gift, say hello, and then run away quickly. Yes, that's it. Just as he went out, he saw the big guy who was held by himself at the engagement banquet was counting the troops. Big guy Norman Ironside was angry. Are people all here? More than 30 bodyguards stood in rows and shouted. Yes, good. Norman Ironside was still angry. His face was black. Mr. Carter's engagement ceremony was messed up by that guy called Dragon Supreme. Can we swallow this breath? Everyone shouted. No, you're right. Mr. Carter is our boss in Aspen, Colorado. There has always been only Mr. Carter who robs men and women, and no one can bully Mr. Carter. Everyone raised their fists and shouted. Rob men and women. do all kinds of evil, rob men and women, do all kinds of evil. Norman Ironside stretched out his hand handsomely, and everyone was silent, absolutely neat and uniformed. So, we must find Dragon Supreme, beat up Dragon Supreme, and get Mr. Carter's place back. Find Dragon Supreme, beat up Dragon Supreme, rob men and women, do all kinds of evil, rob men and women, do all kinds of evil. Alex Carter hurriedly ran over and pulled Norman Ironside. What are you doing? Oh, Mr. Carter, you're here, Norman Ironside said excitedly. Mr. Carter, I have 9 ways to play to death that Dragon Supreme 9. You just watch me. Alex Carter kicked his butt. Are you idle? Alex Carter looked at these more than 30 young men with beautiful bodies. Don't shout so loud in the future. Do I want to be a person? Norman Ironside was confused, scratching his head. Mr. Carter, you used to be not too shy. Alex Carter was so angry that he shivered. Now I want a face, okay? Oh, Norman Ironside said loudly. Have you all understood? Now our Mr. Carter wants to act the saint while playing the sinner. Understand the spirit. Everyone raised their fists and shouted. To act the saint while playing the sinner. To act the saint while playing the sinner. Alex Carter roared. Get out! Get out of here! A little guy was still holding his fist and muttering in a low voice while walking. To act the saint, but playing the sinner. Alex Carter was about to kick him. You little armed seed, don't leave, I'll fight with you today. Norman Ironside held him. Hey, Mr. Carter, these are all trained according to your instructions. Everyone is used to it. Alex Carter panted. You trained? Yes, you can rest assured. I know what you mean. That stinky beggar Dragon Supreme. I will. Alex Carter held him. Norman Ironside. Mr. Carter. We are brothers. Alex Carter said very attentively. He had to be attentive, and he could see it. This ruffian was too ruffian. In a single-minded person, oil and salt do not enter. You say something else, he also can't understand. The key is to let him do it, and all the accounts will be counted on his own head, and Dragon Supreme will still have to kill himself in the end. So, he can only coax and deceive. Norman Ironside was moved to tears. Mr. Carter, I don't deserve it. I'm just, Alex Carter said. If we are brothers, don't come and chop me. Listen, don't provoke that Dragon Supreme in the future. Tell everyone, see Dragon Supreme all around. Why? Norman Ironside said. I don't get it. Chapter 4. Why is it you again? Alex Carter's eyes were filled with tears as he clutched Norman Ironside's collar with both hands. I've died 6 times already. This time, I plan to survive until the end. I must survive until the end. Norman Ironside couldn't comprehend. Mr. Carter, could you please speak Chinese? Alex Carter tightly hugged the oaf's neck, gritting his teeth. Buddy, if you handle this well, there should be a new sports car in my garage recently. I'll give it to you. Norman Ironside said. That's a Porsche. Yours now. Norman Ironside wiped away tears, clasping his hands in gratitude. Heaven and earth are dear, but Mr. Carter's kindness is dearer. The sky is high and the earth is thick, but not as thick as Mr. Carter's favor towards me. From now on, Norman Ironside's body is Mr. Carter's body. Norman Ironside's life is Mr. Carter's life. Stop blabbering. Prepare the gift for the patient. Bring out the car. I'm going to see my godfather. Yes, boss. At the Winterfield residence, Alex Carter entered the old man's room, put down the gift, and made small talk with the old man. He was thinking of finding an excuse to withdraw when the butler announced, Sir, Miss Cynthia Snowden of the Snowden family is here, and the young master has returned as well, bringing someone who claims to be a divine doctor. Charles Winterfield was taken aback. Isn't Cynthia already a renowned medical expert? Why did Max bring another so-called divine doctor? Anyway, let them all come in. Alex Carter cursed under his breath. Damn system. You're playing with me. Can't I escape this? This is clearly a later plot. Cynthia Snowden fails to cure the patient, and Charles Winterfield is on the brink of death. Then Dragon Supreme steps in to help, and Cynthia Snowden worships his exquisite medical skills, secretly admiring him. The Winterfield patriarch is grateful to tears, and later creates a romantic relationship between Dragon Supreme and the Winterfield family's eldest daughter, Megan Winterfield, as well as the Snowden family's talented Cynthia Snowden. I'm not part of this plot. Why am I here? Don't I even get time to escape? Alex Carter quickly stood up. Godfather, rest well. I have something to attend to at the company. I'll go back first. Don't leave. Damn it. The Winterfield patriarch adores Alex Carter so much. But Alex Carter doesn't have much affection for him. According to the plot, Alex Carter will later exploit the old man's trust to betray the Winterfield family. Then Dragon Supreme will appear out of the blue, save the Winterfield family, and punish himself once again. But before that, the Winterfield patriarch trusts him a lot. Yes, if he doesn't trust me, can I betray him? If I don't betray him, will Dragon Supreme have a reason to beat me into a cripple? If Dragon Supreme doesn't beat me into a cripple, can he win the favor of Cynthia Snowden and Megan Winterfield? The protagonist has to chase girls, right? Alex Carter, as a classic villain character, what's wrong with contributing a little to the protagonist's romantic endeavors? What's wrong? I disagree. Alex Carter screamed inside his heart. I want to change my destiny. My life is up to me, not the heavens. I'll see if there's a back door to slip away. The Winterfield patriarch held on to Alex Carter, who was fake smiling and trying hard to push his hand away. Grandpa Winterfield, you'll be fine. I have to go, let go. Alex Carter took advantage of the angle where others couldn't see and slapped the old man's hand. Let go, let go, let go, will you let go? At this moment, Cynthia Snowden had already walked in. With a stern face, she said coldly, Alex Carter, Grandpa Winterfield likes you the most. You just got here 5 minutes ago and are clamoring to leave. That's so heartless, isn't it? Alex Carter saw Cynthia Snowden. He also saw Max Winterfield bringing Dragon Supreme and Dragon Supreme. As soon as he saw Alex Carter squinted his eyes, his hatred was bone deep. Alex Carter thought to himself, a villain is a villain, and must make people itch with hatred at first sight. Alex Carter took a look at Cynthia Snowden. Oh, what a perfect little loli. She has a petite figure but well-proportioned. Her clever and lovely facial features are exquisite to the extreme. The key is such a petite body, but her chest is surging and fierce. At this moment, she was wearing a JK uniform, looking youthful and charming, especially her slender legs wearing white pure cotton stockings. A different kind of temptation. Cynthia Snowden greeted Grandpa Winterfield gently and began to check the cause of his illness. This little girl doesn't grow tall. She just develops on her chest. She will definitely be a disaster in the future. Wow, there's something to look at. Absolutely something to look at. She's also a little loli who likes to wear uniforms. Cynthia Snowden turned her head and glared. What did you say? I didn't say anything. You said it, you big pervert. Max Winterfield hurriedly said. Cynthia, what are you doing? Mr. Carter didn't say anything. Cynthia Snowden was stunned for a moment. Could it be that I'm hallucinating? She gave Alex Carter a disdainful look and turned back to continue checking Grandpa Winterfield's condition. Her butt is sticking up. What a charming small arc. A hot little loli with a great figure. And she can wear uniforms too. If you mess around from behind, it's so cool. Wow, Dragon Supreme is really blessed. Cynthia Snowden turned around again and glared at Alex Carter in anger. Alex Carter was stunned. Cynthia Snowden slowly looked at the others. What's going on? Everyone's expression seems to be as if they didn't hear his nonsense. And the voice really doesn't seem to be normally emitted. Could it be his inner thoughts? Alex Carter was fantasizing about Cynthia Snowden when he felt a chill on the back of his neck. He turned his head and saw Dragon Supreme staring at himself. Cynthia Snowden felt strange, but no one would believe her if she said it, right? After the examination, Cynthia Snowden smiled and said, Grandpa Winterfield, there's just some blood vessel blockage. I'll clear it with a silver needle. Just relax. Dragon Supreme said, "Little girl, things may not be that simple." Cynthia Snowden stood up and looked at Dragon Supreme. "Who are you?" Max Winnefield quickly introduced. "Oh, I forgot to introduce. This is my good friend, Dragon Supreme. He has excellent medical skills, and I specially brought him to see Grandpa." Cynthia Snowden frowned. "I know all the famous doctors in the North, and I've never heard of a young divine doctor named Dragon Supreme. Grandpa's health is crucial, so don't trust anyone casually, Max." "Ha ha," Dragon Supreme said, "Little girl, as the saying goes, great people do not appear in the world, and those who appear in the world are not great. Don't underestimate people." Cynthia Snowden was about to speak when she heard Alex Carter's inner monologue. "Yes, this is the rhythm. Just keep going. You treat the already half-dead Grandpa Winnefield to be completely dead and hard to live, and then Dragon Supreme saves the day. The early confrontation between the two is just a prelude to flirting, and then you secretly admire him and are willing to be part of his harem and be good sisters with Autumn Frost." Cynthia Snowden turned to look at Alex Carter, her face pale with anger. "What nonsense! My medical skills will have problems? Treat Grandpa Winterfield to be completely dead and hard to live. I also have to be part of this guy's harem? With Autumn Frost, too? What is Autumn Frost? She looks down on people with a straight face, which is annoying. Would I be part of someone's harem with her? Shut your mouth for me." Alex Carter was confused, and everyone was confused. Alex Carter pointed to Dragon Supreme. "He's over there. I'm talking about you." Alex Carter was about to cry. "I didn't even fart. Ask everyone." Dragon Supreme laughed. "Little girl, the old man's illness. I'm afraid that in the whole North, no, in the whole China, no one can cure it except me, Dragon Supreme." Cynthia Snowden was so angry with these two people. One is muttering endlessly in his heart, and the other is nagging endlessly on the side. They are more and more unwelcome than each other. "Keep quiet, both of you, while I'm performing the acupuncture." Cynthia Snowden glared at the two men before focusing on treating Charles Winnefield with her needles. Alex Carter shook his head at the back. "What a pity! The 9 needles of King one are a superior technique, but the little girl is too conservative in her approach, avoiding 2 major acupoints. This oversight will lead to Grandpa Winterfield waving at the King of Hell. I can't wait for Dragon Supreme to step in at the critical moment and save the day," making Cynthia Snowden bow down to him. Alas, it's a pity that Cynthia Snowden, a once promising young medic, is now destined to become part of Dragon Supreme's harem. Cynthia Snowden's heart skipped a beat. This rascal actually knows about medical skills? I just used a gentle acupuncture method and indeed avoided 2 dangerous acupoints. He can even see that? When did he become so knowledgeable about medical skills? Sure enough, Charles Winnefield suddenly started coughing violently, his body shaking uncontrollably until blood came out of the corner of his mouth, and he began to roll his eyes. Max Winnefield immediately screamed, "Grandpa! Grandpa! Cynthia, what have you done? This is a disaster." Cynthia Snowden's face turned pale, but she already knew where the problem was. Dragon Supreme waved his hand, took out his own needle bag. "Little girl, step aside. Let me bring the old man back to life. Grandpa is still alive." Cynthia Snowden just said this firmly, then picked up a silver needle and directly stabbed it into a key acupoint. Sure enough, after this needle, Charles Winnefield immediately eased a bit, but he was still in a coma. Dragon Supreme was shocked. This little beauty's last needle was completely different from before, suddenly becoming bold, and the acupoint was extremely accurate. Then another needle was about to be stabbed down when Dragon Supreme's hand was in his sleeve, and he flicked his finger. Alex Carter had been staring at this guy for a while, seeing his eyes were not right, and seeing his hand retreated a bit and started to exert force. Alex Carter's heart skipped a beat. No good. This guy's going to do something bad. Alex Carter couldn't care less. He went straight over and grabbed Dragon Supreme's arm. "Brother, Dragon Supreme was startled by him. Ah, oh. What's the matter? Nothing. Just think you're handsome. Oh, thanks. You're welcome. Cynthia Snowden had already heard Alex Carter's inner monologue and was startled at the time, but at the critical moment of the acupuncture, she couldn't let go of her breath, slightly turned her head, and squinted to see the hand shape that Dragon Supreme was going to do something bad. Then, Alex Carter blocked his line of sight, of course, also blocking Dragon Supreme's hand. Cynthia Snowden had finished 2 needles, and the old man's face gradually regained its rosy color, and he opened his eyes in half a minute. Cynthia, Grandpa Winterfield, it's so good to have you here. Don't leave this time, just stay in Aspen. Grandpa, just rest and take care of your illness. Charles Winterfield just recovered a bit. Chingwen, where is my grandson? Alex Carter hurriedly went over. Grandpa, why is my hand so painful? Alex Carter took a look. He just slapped and hit, and the old man's hand was all red. It's okay. It's just to activate the blood circulation. Dragon Supreme was so angry. His show-off was not half done, and it always failed in the middle. Damn, Alex Carter, why are you everywhere? Alex Carter turned around and saw Dragon Supreme staring at himself, and Max Winterfield was also staring at himself. The old man is too fond of the kid from the Lockhart family. I, Max Winterfield, am your real grandson. Alex Carter thought to himself. My God, I should leave now. Apart from the half-dead and half-alive old man Winterfield who likes me, everyone else wants to strangle me to death. Dragon Supreme wants to kill me because I'm blocking his way to flirt. Max Winterfield wants to kick me to death because his grandfather dotes on me. Cynthia Snowden has never liked me since she was a child, and today she seems to have taken the wrong medicine, as if she wants to strangle me to death. I have to slip away quickly. Cynthia Snowden heard this and smiled in her heart. But thinking of him rushing out to help herself just now, her heart warmed inexplicably. This guy is not so heartless after all. At this moment, Norman Ironside walked up to Alex Carter, whispered in his ear, and said nervously, Mr. Carter, something big has happened. You have to hurry to the medicine factory. Alex Carter was shocked. Medicine factory? Something happened. Chapter 5, Dark Lolita. Alex Carter couldn't wait to make his escape. He quickly took his leave, fleeing from the Winterfield Manor. Walking on the pathway outside the Winterfield Manor, Alex Carter nervously asked, What's the matter? Norman Ironside's face was ashen, and he anxiously looked around. Let's talk in the car. Alex Carter understood. Something was truly wrong. At that moment, Cynthia Snowden also received the news, and she was furious. She directly chased after them, reaching Alex Carter and Norman Ironside. Norman Ironside quickly shut his mouth, nervously looking at Cynthia Snowden. Alex Carter was still confused, not grasping the situation. Oh, Miss Snowden, is there something wrong for chasing us out so urgently? Cynthia Snowden, with a stern face, looked at Alex Carter's expression and thought, this guy is really good at pretending. He embezzled the money for purchasing fine materials, causing a whole batch of medicinal herbs and the ingredient list to not match. And now he acts as if he knows nothing. Cynthia Snowden smiled, her smile as sharp as hidden blades. Brother Carter, nothing significant has happened at the medicine factory lately, has it? Alex Carter saw Norman Ironside desperately winking at him and quickly said, Nothing significant. Don't worry. I'll handle it if there's anything. How did this girl come out? Where is Dragon Supreme? Shouldn't they have already gone out for tea and started discussing medical skills? Why is the female lead following me out? Why does Dragon Supreme's harem have to pester me? The matter of the medicine factory must be important. It must be resolved. Cynthia Snowden was taken aback. Seeing this, it seemed that this guy really didn't know the specific situation of the medicine factory. Could it be that he didn't embezzle the money? Cynthia Snowden thought for a moment and said with a smile, Brother Carter, it's been over a year since we last met, hasn't it? Has it? Haha. Time flies, and the years are like a rolling wheel, crushing our lost youth. Cynthia Snowden almost vomited. This person was getting more and more disgusting. She forced a smile and opened her arms wide. Hug. Alex Carter was now in a complete dilemma. He was infested with lice all over his body and didn't know which one to grab first. Dragon Supreme's good deeds were ruined by himself twice in one day. He was most likely already on his blacklist. Autumn Frost, that wretched girl, for some reason insisted on being engaged to him. He had to resolve this matter quickly and not get entangled with Dragon Supreme, that beast. Cynthia Snowden, the female lead, was also not following the normal plot, being strange and persistent. But the most urgent thing now was to deal with the matter of the medicine factory. That was medicine. If there was an accident, it would be a significant event. Now this witch actually wanted a hug from him. What kind of thing is a hug? Who was playing with whom? At this moment, Alex Carter saw Max Winnefield and Dragon Supreme walking out. Dragon Supreme instantly made eye contact with Alex Carter. Alex Carter's mouth corner twitched. Isn't this completely screwed again? Dragon Supreme's eyes narrowed. It's this guy messing up my good deeds again. Alex Carter quickly pretended to be calm. What's this about a hug? He quickly spoke loudly. Oh, Brother Dragon, you're just in time. You see, Miss Snowden was a bit temperamental just now, but in fact, she really admires your medical skills. You two should find a cafe to chat. Both of you are obsessed with medical skills. You must have a lot in common. I have something to do. Goodbye. Alex Carter turned around and wanted to leave, thinking, I can only help you guys here. I wish you have a child soon, as long as you don't mess with me. You two are a perfect match. I'm just a piece of shit, okay? I have to leave immediately, otherwise Dragon Supreme might pick a quarrel. Cynthia Snowden glanced back at Dragon Supreme, snorted contemptuously, turned around and grabbed the corner of Alex Carter's clothes. Brother Carter, don't leave. From when I was a child, didn't you always hug me every time we parted? Alex Carter widened his eyes, shocked at this little Lolita. Cynthia Snowden's exquisite face was as beautiful as a fairy, and her big eyes were as bright and clear as black gems. However, in this exquisite face and clear gaze, Alex Carter saw a trace of complacency, cunning, fierceness, and even a hint of evil. She did it on purpose. Cynthia Snowden did it on purpose. Alex Carter had completely angered her. She heard his inner thoughts and was convinced that she would definitely fall into Dragon Supreme's arms. Why? Cynthia Snowden also got excited. So you are afraid of Dragon Supreme? Humph. Whatever you are afraid of, I will give you a hard time and make your life uneasy. Alex Carter's eyes were filled with hostility and shock. He slowly pushed away Cynthia Snowden's hand, thinking viciously, the little girl wants to trap me. She seems to know that I am afraid of Dragon Supreme, so she did it on purpose. Definitely on purpose. Cynthia Snowden almost laughed out loud, continuing to pretend to be cute with a pitiful face, but her eyes seemed to say, I did it on purpose. I didn't expect that you, Alex Carter, would also be afraid of someone. Interesting. Today I'm going to scare you to death. Oh, you're sweating? At this moment, Dragon Supreme and Max Winnefield had already walked up, and Dragon Supreme sneered. Hug every time you part? Mr. Carter is so chic. Alex Carter's mouth twitched, and before he could explain, the brute Norman Ironside stepped forward and said loudly, So what if he did? You're just a... Alex Carter pulled Norman Ironside over, thinking you should stop causing trouble. We are not enough for him to beat up. Alex Carter awkwardly said, Miss Snowden is joking. It's nothing. There's nothing? It started when I was 8 years old. That time it was a family dinner, the first time you tricked me into the corner for a kiss and a hug. Have you forgotten? You even insisted that I take off my clothes for you to check, saying that you plan to be a doctor in the future. That day, I was so worried. I almost believed you. Dragon Supreme's fist slowly clenched, staring at Alex Carter's eyes becoming more and more sharp. Alex Carter narrowed his eyes, looking at this devil, Cynthia Snowden, and he completely understood in his heart that this little girl seemed to know his weak spot. The key is that she has an innocent and invincible lowly face, and a pair of innocent big eyes. I'm afraid no one would believe that this little girl has such a dark heart and such an explosive performance skills, right? I finally got another chance to change my destiny against the heavens. I won't be trapped by this little girl, will I? Our Dragon Supreme and his girlfriends the humps I can't get over in my life. Cynthia Snowden was also calculating in her heart. He seems to know Dragon Supreme very well, and these two people seem to have grievances. Very good. Evil people have their own evil to grind. Neither of you is a good thing. One robs men and women and does all kinds of evil. The other one is against the old man lying in a hospital bed and tries to stop me from saving people. Whoever kills whom is a joy to all, and I like to watch bad people kill each other. Alex Carter wiped the sweat from his forehead and forced a smile. I don't remember anything from when I was a child. Then you should hug me today, right? Cynthia Snowden approached Alex Carter and whispered, "If you don't hug me, you can't leave." Alex Carter narrowed his eyes filled with deep resentment, and whispered, "You have guts." Alex Carter exerted all his strength to force out an ugly fake smile and gently hugged Cynthia Snowden. But Cynthia Snowden hugged Alex Carter tightly, and she shouted, "Oh, Brother Carter, you're so annoying, taking advantage of me again." Alex Carter pushed Cynthia Snowden away, about to get angry. Dragon Supreme held the unsteady Cynthia Snowden and glared at Alex Carter. "Mr. Carter, what do you mean?" Alex Carter's head buzzed. "Damn it." He quickly smiled and said, "No, I just had a cramp. You guys talk. There's something wrong with my medicine factory. I have to go back and deal with it." Alex Carter turned around and almost ran. Norman Ironside was stunned for 2 seconds, pointing at Dragon Supreme. "You wait for me." After saying that, he turned around to catch up with Alex Carter. Dragon Supreme didn't chase after Alex Carter. He couldn't care about Alex Carter now. With a beauty by his side, he had no time for Alex Carter. "Snowjow, are you all right? Are you hurt?" "Don't worry, I won't let Alex Carter off the hook," Dragon Supreme said, trying to comfort Cynthia Snowden. "Oh, is that so?" Cynthia Snowden instantly resumed her cold expression, creating some distance between her and Dragon Supreme. "He is Mr. Carter of Snow City. Ordinary people can't afford to provoke him. What can someone like you do?" Dragon Supreme laughed. "What are the 4 major families? In my eyes, they're all just ants." Cynthia Snowden's eyes flashed a cold glint. "All ants, is that so?" Dragon Supreme realized he had misspoke and hurriedly tried to explain. "No, I mean, goodbye." Cynthia Snowden strode to her car, ripped off her uniform, and her assistant team swarmed around her, draping her in a black trench coat. From a pure little lowly, her aura changed in an instant, transforming into a cold-faced, proud queen, like a miniature autumn frost. Once in the car, Alex Carter was still trembling with anger, slapping the armrest of his seat. "Damn it, I almost got killed just now." Norman Ironside quickly raised the partition window between the boss cabin and the driver's seat, isolating the driver. "Mr. Carter, don't worry. I'll find someone to take care of that Dragon Supreme and get revenge for you." "Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit." Alex Carter gritted his teeth. "The main problem is that girl, Cynthia Snowden. This little girl." Norman Ironside chuckled. "Mr. Carter, from what we saw today, she really seems to have a crush on you. She even took the initiative to embrace you. Don't worry, Mr. Carter. I'll help you win over this little lowly from the Snowden family. Once we have her, the resources of the Snowden family will be ours." "You shut up." Alex Carter was about to blow up. "Remember, do not provoke Dragon Supreme. Do not scheme against Cynthia Snowden. This little girl clearly wants to play me to death." "Oh, isn't that just perfect?" Norman Ironside smirked. "You two as a couple who plays who, it's all the same, right?" Alex Carter looked at Norman Ironside, about to lose his temper, but then thought that he was just used to being a lackey, and he didn't understand the things Alex Carter knew. Getting angry with him was like playing the lute to a cow. He could only sigh and ask, "What happened at the medicine factory?" What Alex Carter didn't know was that at this very moment, Cynthia Snowden was sitting in her business car, wearing headphones, listening to their conversation. That hug just now was an act of secretly planting a bug. At this moment, Cynthia Snowden sat in the car, her face as cold as frost, her eyes sharp. Her secretary team looked at her nervously, not daring to make a sound. Norman Ironside said, "The director of the Drug Supervision Department, Tom, is a real piece of work. The young master, in order to reduce costs, reduced some of the precious materials in this batch of medicine. It's just traditional Chinese medicine. It won't kill anyone." That damn director Tom actually wrote a resignation letter, threatening to expose this matter. Do you think this old guy is just asking for trouble? I think we should handle it like this. We'll just continue to sell the medicine with our brand. It's traditional Chinese medicine anyway. It won't kill anyone with poison. This guy is just after money, right? Offer him 10 or 20 million to shut him up. If he doesn't agree, we'll just make this person disappear. Once he's gone, this matter will just... Enough, stop talking. Alex Carter lowered the partition window and said to the driver, "Speed up. Head to the medicine factory." Cynthia Snowden took off her headphones, her eyes growing colder. "Alex Carter, if you dare to do such a conscienceless thing, don't blame me, Cynthia Snowden, for being ruthless. Others might fear the Carter family, but I, Cynthia Snowden, am not afraid of you. Moreover," a sly smile appeared at the corner of Cynthia Snowden's mouth.